All right, Rippers. Good to see you again. This is a short introduction to the project DMR Ripper that we're getting started with, right? That was here. I'll give you a short introduction. This was our 20-inch barrel, 1 8 twist DPMS upper. Just their basic stock model with the forward assist, got the carry handle, got the gas block front sight combo on it, and it does have an adjustable stock it had on it, and it's got this is a PSA lower, just a standard PA-15 multi-caliber, right? It's got a it could be a 3-position safety, but it's a 2-position safety on there. It's got a mil spec 2-stage trigger on it. Pretty basic rifle. The only real upgrade, what I'd say, is that it has a adjustable stock on it. And it has this nicer PSA kind of angled rubberized grip, right? And it's a floated heavy barrel, 20-inch barrel on it. So these are known pretty much to be pretty accurate to start with. So this is going to be our base model. What we're going to do is we're going to go out to the range and test it just right in this configuration. However, we're just going to make 2 what I consider probably the first upgrade you would do if you get your basic rifle, no matter what the barrel length is. This one, we're doing some study and some looking at the 20-inch for a reason, which you guys should enjoy in the future. Figuring it out, we're going to test it against things like the 16 and the 10.5 and the 8-inch, right? But I think we're going to be surprised at just how effective. Maybe some of you won't be, but I'm looking forward to it to see just how well this 20-inch performs and why a 20-inch would be a good thing to have in your toolbox, right? Especially with the right ammo. So that being said, we're speaking of ammo. I think the first upgrade we should do is a 30-round magazine, right? And you might go ahead and get yourself some 20-rounders and things like that as well. And there's nothing wrong with a good old basic PMag, especially when it's only $10 right now. Tell you what, let's make sure it fits. Now you can see we got an empty magazine, empty mag well, empty chamber, right? We're gonna put her in there, make sure she locks in, right? Yep, we'll drop the bolt. Yep, stays in. Let's see if it goes in smooth with the bolt. Yep, it does. Okay. Right there, it looks even better just as it is with that sticking out. Now, I would advise you getting a few more of these. Like, I'd say at least 5 of them, especially at $10 a piece, right? You should probably have 5 that would stay mated with this rifle. And then I'd load them up, right? So that way you have them ready to go. Maybe even in that big toolbox I found, I wonder if this would fit. I think it's too long, so that might be for a different project. But have yourself a kit that you can just grab and go, right? So that's our first one, and I know you're thinking, well, that's just an easy upgrade, but we're talking about what beginners, as well as advanced shooters, but beginner shooters mainly, what they should do first once they've got their rifle. Okay, I got it. Now, of course, most of them are going to come with a magazine, but that's why I say you should probably get more than one. You should get about probably 5 of them, but get yourself some higher capacity magazines. Of course, that is if, and only if, it's allowed in your area. So be sure to check your areas. I'm not a professional in all states or anything. I don't know everything. So do your due diligence, right? That's one thing I could say about any video that you watch out there is do your due diligence and really research what should be done. Now, the second thing we're going to do so we can get ready to head to the range, that's going to be the next one, all right? You guys always like them range videos, is we've got one of these Leopold, and they make other cheaper Chinese ones if you want, but this is one I just happened to have and found in my box. It's a Leopold pick brow that mounts on to this barrel, to this handle, excuse me, on this thing, because that's one of the things. Without having a flat top here with a pick rail built into the upper, and we're keeping this thing kind of like usable in all situations, right? So that's why I wanted to go with this style, plus it's one I had, right? And that's what you should always do. Use what you have and make it work to its best abilities, right? So I went ahead and got this pick rail mount that goes right on there. And I like to pretend like if the recoil of the rifle comes back, then push the rail forward when you mount it so that it doesn't move on you. Go ahead and put the lock washer up and on there. and then take this nut right there. And another nice thing about this is you know, even though you want to give this nut a good tightening, and then retighten it after you shoot it, and I'll get a wrench with some protective rubber on it to really give that a oomph. But you want to put that on there, get it down, get it mounted really good, and you could even put a little Loctite on it if you want, but only use blue if you do that. This also allows it to be somewhat removable. So say you have an issue and you just want to take your whole optic off and throw it in your pack till you can deal with it, and just go right to the open sights, because this will constrict the view a little bit. But we're going to see at the range how effective it is, and if we can still hit targets out to certain yardages and whatnot. And I think that's what's important, is that we go and test the things that we put on there. So these are the two first upgrades I would do. I'd get yourself a way to mount optics on it that you can still see through, right? Now, it's less important if you have, say, a rail on the front, which this gun doesn't have, not at least yet. But if you have rails on the front where you can mount other things, or you have a top rail on a handguard on something like this, you could mount flip-up sights that you could see through, or you could mount 45-degree sights as well. But for this, we're going to just keep it basic and simple and durable, usable, and cheap, right? So we got this rail on there. I think that thing was probably like, I don't know, 20 bucks or so, I think, if I remember right. Bought it a long time ago. Just for this reason, right? Just probably for this rifle, who knows? Not for this one, but one like it. So anyway, got our magazines, because I do have 5 more of these, and we got our top rail now ready for an optic when that time comes. Now, I'm just going to take a peek through here, and yep, I can see my sights in my ring here, and this one has the ability to flip it to a smaller ring. So let's see if I can still see it. Yeah, I can still see my post there. So what it does do is the nut inside of there, kind of the whole circle that's drilled through this, it kind of blocks, I'd say about, let me see here, about a quarter of the circle, right? So it does cut down your vision, field of view a little bit, and your ability to sight through there, but you can still sight just fine and still acquire targets and whatnot. So that is still plenty usable. So I think this is going to work great. We're going to take it out to the range on the next video and try it out with just some basic get it on paper, and we'll probably go over getting it on paper with open sights and see how she does. We'll probably have a bipod that we can just hook onto the front of the barrel as well, or maybe onto this little sling stud. That'll be one of the improvements coming up probably too, is a secondary sling stud there, and you'll see why. But anyway, that would be the first steps I would do right there to get it going, right? All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. Look forward to the next one. We're going to keep them short and concise and fun, and maybe so that way you can follow along if you have something similar or you're considering something similar. So till next time, stay safe, stay secure, always be aware of your surroundings, especially these days. If you're paying attention, you can't miss that something happened in Buffalo. And I may touch on that here in the future once some more information gets out, because I don't think we should jump to any kind of conclusions and be feeling like we need to get out there and make our opinions right away, right? Because, well, acting quickly is never as good as sitting back and getting all the information and making an informed choice, right? Or a decision or a thought, right? So think about that when you're out there cruising around the internet, right? Don't be so hasty to just jump on a bandwagon, right? So that being said, if you've got it, wear it. And if you're wearing it, get out there and use it, not only for your safety, but for others, and be getting ready and prepared for anything that may come your way. Adios.